He just touches the handle and all of a sudden it's just...
What a show. What a show we watched this week, boys. Mari Karambu Weebs. My name is Cole. His name is Mike. His name is Jay. We like anime. And this is episode 146 of AniPro. You need two hands for that one. There you go. Yeah. And on this week's episode, we did it. We finally did it. At least I think we all did it. Maybe one of us didn't watch it, but we watched the 2016 adaptation of the, dare I say, masterpiece manga, Berserk. Did it live up to the hype and the heights that the manga initially lived up to?
Spoilers, yes,
or did it? Or did it spectacularly not live up to those hypes? Who knows? I'm sure you'll all be surprised by our reactions.
Well, I mean, if you go to AniList, you can see the 99% on its mean score. So obviously it's good.
Yeah, obviously.
I don't want to talk about it too much because I am looking forward to that review. It should be a very fun review between the three of us.
Yeah. Spoilers for it.
That is one big pile of shit.
We got more drops in the old soundboard this week.
Apparently.
So.
You guys were talking about how good it was, and I was like, oh, I gotta add. I just thought of the perfect drop to play for it. Anyway.
So in honor of Berserk 2016, we're also going to discuss bad media, bad movies, bad TV shows and stuff that we watched. Yeah. I don't know what the correlation is between those two, but we'll figure it out as we go along.
We'll find out.
We'll find out, I guess. Yeah, we'll see.
As usual, leave a like, subscribe, tell a friend about us. Come to our Discord. You talk to us about Berserk 2016 or the canceled Berserk fan animation. That was just announced this week, too. Yeah. Isn't that
let's
crazy?
Quickly touch on that. That's kind of crazy. You know what? I think when we last talked about it on the pod, didn't one of us say, like, how are they allowed to do this? Question mark. Like, literally, we said the question mark part too. I don't get how fan animations work, personally. But, like, because, like, I know Japan's pretty crazy about, like, piracy. So, like, I was like, this just feels like strange they're allowing this to happen.
Well, I think like at the same time, like they also launched like a Patreon for this fan animation, which like if you're making money,
that'll do it. There you go.
Of it,
yeah.
That's never gonna fly.
Now you've gone. You've gone too far.
Yeah.
I know everything is 2020 in hindsight, but like looking back, like of course me and Mike and Jay were all negative Nellies, and we kind of said like,
massively,
I don't know. I don't know if this will ever like take off, or if it does, it'll get taken down right away. There have been rumors coming out around this now where maybe it was a scam, like maybe they just made the trailer and it was all just to drum up money on Patreon. Allegedly, these are all rumors that I've read.
There's no way to know that, especially now, because like it's dead. Like we'll never know. Like, at this point, yes, I guess it is that's technically true right now, because like we're never gonna get this, and people paid money for it. So
like I just saw somebody posted on X or Twitter or whatever the hell Elon's calling it now, about how one of the voice actors said like everybody dropped off as soon as the trailer was released, like all of the animators, all of the producers and stuff.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And
it was suspicious.
It's a little sus. Yeah, a little sussy baka, if you ask me. I don't know. Like, I saw it and I was like, this looks interesting, but like, I want to see like a proper adaptation of Berserk.
Yes, I agree. Like, the thing with the problem with that is like, the problem with this I'm gonna specify here. The problem with this fan animation in my mind, and why I never got super excited about it, is because in my mind, fan animation really is never going to have the longevity or the funding or just like the resources period needed to adapt something like Berserk. So like I had a feeling we were gonna get at most 1 or 2 episodes, and then it's gonna fall down like the rabbit hole of like, oh yeah, we're trying to get the next episode out, and then it just like kind of never comes.
Yeah,
and I guess it's too late now. We'll never know.
Yeah, I mean, like in my experience, like fan animations work well, like for shorts. Like I mentioned a couple weeks ago about the Alien fan animation, which is very good. The Star Wars TIE Fighter animation, which is also very good. And then like shorts, like, okay, if you do a season of them, but it's like 5-minute long episodes. In hindsight, again, everything's 2020 in hindsight. How did we think that this could possibly be a fan animation
That would be good.
of the quality of a studio animation, of the length of a studio animation in like a full season? Like,
like when you just think about all that stuff, that's like millions of dollars and like hundreds of hours of people's time.
Yeah.
I just don't see how volunteers are doing that.
Yeah, it's
tough. It's tough.
Yeah. I'm holding out hope for a proper Berserk adaptation.
Well, you know
Maybe
what?
We'll
We
talk
got
about
11
it in the
more
second
years,
half.
Cole. The last adaptation before 2016 was in 97.
Yeah.
Which
yeah,
is
that's
a
true.
19-year gap.
Yeah.
So we got to wait another 19 years.
Yeah.
Technically,
We're almost there.
the movies, I think, and like the movies retread the stuff that's covered, I think, in the original 97. So the Golden Age arc.
It's the
so
Golden Age arc, yeah.
I don't know when they
But
started, but we'll talk about that.
talk a lot about Berserk in the second half.
Yes.
I just thought it was appropriate that we would touch on
No, good call. Yeah.
the cancel. Well, I wouldn't say cancellation, but Whitewater Rapids.
Yeah, I mean,
of
like
the fan animation.
as it stands right now, like the only real the current status is really just like Berserk has threatened to like cause a legal issue if they were to proceed with it.
Yeah. And honestly, is maybe it kind of worked out okay for them, because like we'll never find out if it was a fraud, or we'll get one episode of great stuff and then never another. This is maybe one of the better outcomes, sadly, I think.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Sometimes not knowing is better.
And
as they say,
I mean,
it's better to have loved and lost than to have never loved at all.
But
then when you hear that, you think, really? Are you sure? Sure about that?
It also could have been like the Berserk team, like the people that work, like that are actually affiliated with the Berserk IP, heard about the potential of it actually being a scam. So this is them going like, look, we are not affiliated with this at all. We don't want anything to do with it.
The release they put out actually kind of didn't really tell them to stop. It just said, we have nothing to do with this.
Yeah.
We have not authorized this.
Yeah.
Who knows what
true.
they did behind the scenes, but it's like a threat in my mind. It was like it read like a threat.
It sounds like a threat, but it could also just be them being like, look, if this does turn out to be a scam, we have nothing to do with this. Don't come crashing doors down after us.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's true.
We weren't involved at all.
Yeah.
We're gonna crash doors after Cole though right away.
What did I do?
You?
Yeah.
What haven't you done?
What haven't you done?
Yes.
You know what you did.
Listen, I'm sorry. I had a glass of wine before this, so I'm
currently drinking some wine from our good buddy Nug Deep's wedding. So yes.
Perfect. It's the same wine.
It's the same wine. Did you have the white as well?
Yeah, I did.
The Vines of Rivendell or whatever it's called.
Vines of Rivendell. Yeah. So
it's very good.
This is apparently turning into a drinking episode. Appropriate.
I thought it was appropriate because I was like, we're gonna have to get through this Berserk stuff. So I'm gonna sound like this on the way back to my room after this app recording.
Okay, no, let's move on. Let's talk about bad stuff. Let's talk about bad stuff for a change. Usually we talk about good stuff, but let's talk about maybe stuff that disappointed us over the years.
No, I think it's stuff that's bad that we liked. I thought we were talking about.
Okay, let's do that then.
Well, we can do both.
We could do both. Yeah, just talk about bad stuff in general. But okay,
Well,
I misunderstood.
No, it's okay. Let's start with bad stuff that we enjoy.
Okay.
You know what? I'll start us off. And I've talked about this movie a few times on the podcast. I think it's a flawed movie. I think it's the best bad movie or the worst good movie. I can't quite make my mind up. And that's the movie Signs. M. Night Shyamalan. It was like his third movie, maybe second movie.
The movie Signs lives rent free on this podcast.
It's
never
good.
gotten more pop than on this podcast in like the last 20 years.
It's such a good movie. Well, it's not such a good movie. It's
a movie. It's
a movie.
Sneaky scary.
It's sneaky scary.
It's a movie in M. Night Shyamalan's prime.
Yes. Yeah. It was towards the end of his prime.
It's not his prime, but it's in his prime, probably.
Yeah. I would say it was his last good movie because he had Sixth Sense, he had Unbreakable, and then he had Signs, and then I think he moved on to like The Village and stuff like that.
I kind of liked, what was it? The Unbreakable sequel? I forget what it's called.
Yeah, I can't quite remember. I haven't seen it yet, but
no, it was okay. I didn't see Glass though, like the sequel to that.
Yeah. I just think it's such a good movie with great performances from problematic actors.
Split was the movie I was trying to think of.
Split.
Yes.
Especially Mel Gibson. But man, Mel Gibson and
he can act though. That's the problem.
Joaquin Phoenix in that movie.
Joaquin Phoenix,
so good in that movie.
Yeah.
I mean, you think like, okay, if the aliens are like allergic to water or whatever, why would they come to Earth?
Probably not a good move by them.
Probably not a good move, but
70% water.
You watch it and you think like, look at the performances, like look at how well it is directed. I think that it is directed well. It's just maybe Mr. M. Night Shyamalan. What does he go by? Night? Mr. Shyamalan?
Monsieur Shyamalan, I think.
Monsieur. Maybe you should stop writing and just focus on your direction. I think you're like a J.J. Abrams almost in that sense. Like very good director, very good vision, but
but who's gonna write the twist ending stories now? If he doesn't,
that's fine. We don't need them. We don't need the twist.
If you want a good movie by Shyamalan, go watch The Happening.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No, you want a good movie by M. Night Shyamalan? Go watch Signs. It's a good movie.
It's kind of crazy though. His most recent movie didn't really have a twist ending. It was just bad.
Like the one that just came out.
The one that just came out. Yeah.
I think the whole thing was a twist though, but they kind of like ruined the twist in the trailers.
Yeah, like I mean. I guess the twist is like at the beginning, but like,
yeah,
of course.
Yeah, I haven't heard good things about it.
But like, of course, it like that's how it is because then the movie wouldn't be wouldn't work.
It's the first hat on the movie, and then you got to watch to see if Monsieur Shyamalan puts on any more hats, onto
which
his
he
movie.
doesn't.
Which he doesn't.
Okay. Can this one man wear?
I haven't seen it yet.
I haven't seen it either, but I've heard atrocious things. I've heard jokes that like he made the movie just to promote his daughter.
Yes, I have heard that. Yeah. It's funny though. I'm old enough to remember. Mike may remember. Like M. Night Shyamalan was like lauded as like the next Spielberg.
Yeah, he was pretty popular. I don't think he's been relevant in like maybe 15 years, to be honest with you.
Yeah. It's been a long time since he's like released anything that was like universally praised.
Yeah.
Honestly, probably.
I haven't even heard his name other than you two talking about him, to be honest with you.
Probably Unbreakable. Because like Signs, a lot of people like Signs like me, but I think it's still only like maybe a 60% on Rotten Tomatoes or something like that.
It is a 75% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Oh, that's not bad then. Okay. Good job.
It came out 2 years after Unbreakable. So
yeah.
Unbreakable. Can't find the Rotten Tomatoes for it. Oh, there we go. 70%. Okay. Yeah.
Oh, it's even higher. Okay. Maybe I'll go watch Signs after this. Sorry, I meant Signs is even higher.
Gotcha.
The Sign is
maybe I'll go watch. I'll go watch Signs.
You two have talked about a movie you haven't seen now. Jay, what have you seen? No, you're talking about that other one.
We were talking about the recent M. Night Shyamalan movie, but a movie that I have seen that like I know is bad, but I can't like I'll watch it at least once a year. Is Batman and Robin?
Ooh, that's a spicy take.
It's a really bad movie. Like it was clearly made to sell toys, but like it's so
really?
It's so funny. Like when Batman pulls out his Batman credit card and it makes the cha-ching sound. I lose it every time.
I miss, you know what? I actually miss a little bit of that like we don't get this in movies that much anymore, but we like, you know how they have that old school cheesiness to them a little bit? They weren't afraid to be a little cheesy.
That camp.
Yeah, that campiness.
Yeah, it's a little campy and like, I feel like today we take things too seriously today. There was back then they were kind of like, who cares? It's a movie. Have fun.
Yeah. Yeah. But like
who did Batman and Robin? Who's the director?
Joel Schumacher.
Joel Schumacher, I think he was going for that like Adam West 1960s Batman.
Yeah, campy. Yeah.
Yeah, going out from like the Tim Burton, because even Batman Forever, which was Schumacher as well, but that was with Val Kilmer before what's his name? George Clooney took over. It was pretty campy too, but like this like cranked it up to like an 11. And yeah, it's not a good movie, but it is a fun watch.
It
Jay.
is
I'm
really
here,
fun.
I'm here for you. Yeah.
Yeah, especially like when you're with the boys and just like ingesting
Ingesting.
What are you ingesting? The boys?
The movie.
alcohol.
Oh, okay.
Imbibing
I don't know.
is the word you want.
I don't know anything about that.
Contrary to signs, Batman and Robin has a Rotten Tomato score of 12%.
Okay. I guess my hot take is that's a bit harsh.
It's pretty hot. That's harsh. That feels harsh.
I don't know. Is it though? Is it harsh?
I don't think I've ever seen this movie.
There is one shot where a cop like opens a cop door and the ice on the door starts wiggling.
How do you? Is this the one with Mr. Freeze?
Yeah, it's the one with Arnold Schwarzenegger,
Mr.
Freeze.
How do you make a bad movie with George Clooney, Uma Thurman, and Arnold Schwarzenegger in their primes?
But did they make a bad movie though?
I don't know.
Hear me out. Hear me out. 12%.
Mm-hmm.
Obvious. Yeah. Obviously, the critics didn't like this movie.
Yeah.
What? But like on Amazon, which is the audience score on Rotten Tomatoes is terrible too. But Amazon,
do you like anything?
Amazon has a rating on it of 4.2 out of 5
because it's a fun watch.
Because it's a fun watch. The other wonderful thing I love about it, okay, George Clooney is Batman. Chris O'Donnell is Dick Grayson, Robin, who is like also an adult man.
Yeah.
Which is kind of weird. Like, George Clooney is like, I am raising this grown man as my son.
Oh, that's funny.
And yeah, Arnold Schwarzenegger. Yeah, this was he had the highest payment on this movie, I'm sure. Like, how much did they have to give Arnold Schwarzenegger to do this movie?
To be Mr. Freeze?
Millions and millions of dollars. And it's so funny. Mr. Freeze is like one of the best Batman villains in the comics, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like his whole thing about like his wife. Like he's such a sympathetic villain. And in this, he's just a clown.
Well, it's funny. Like, it feels like Schumacher just like made every Batman villain he did the Joker, or like some variation of the Joker.
Yeah. Like in Batman Forever, which is also, again, I love Batman Forever. But Jim Carrey and Tommy Lee Jones are both playing the same character.
Pretty much. I will give this to Jim Carrey though. His version of the Riddler is actually like pretty good.
I like it. It's Tommy Lee Jones's Harvey Dent that is. That's not Two-Face.
That's not Two-Face.
How he's supposed to be.
Jim Carrey's Riddler, especially like Jim Carrey in his prime, like very, very good. Because Riddler could be like that bumbling idiot, right? Yeah. I mean, great casts for those movies too. Yeah. The Schumacher Batmans. Jim Carrey, Tommy Lee Jones, Val Kilmer, George Clooney, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Uma Thurman, like. Just absurd that he got these people in and made shit. Just garbage. I think
fun
like,
garbage.
That is one big pile of shit.
Yeah. I think like Chris O'Donnell did an interview years later and like he was saying, the whole time I felt like I was making a toy commercial.
Yeah. But like...
Do you guys know what killed the dinosaurs?
The Ice Age.
The Ice Age.
Yeah. Yeah, the Ice Age. No, it's just like... Do you think they had fun at least making the movies, or was it a slog?
Oh, absolutely.
Probably,
I
yeah.
don't know, because I hope so. I hope that at least they had a good time making these movies, because Jay's right. I have a good time watching these movies. They're a lot of fun.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
Good
silly.
pick, Jay.
They're so silly, so campy, but there's something about them that just has so much heart, and it's so much fun.
It's a toy commercial.
Yeah.
And I wanted those toys, and I still do. The Batmobile in Batman Forever.
Mm-hmm. With all the lights.
Batmobile and Batman and Robin, not peak.
Yeah.
But the previous one was very good. Yeah. Toy commercial. Love it though. Love it, Mike.
Go rewatch Batman. Go rewatch Batman and Robin.
Yeah.
Or maybe do, maybe don't. We'll see.
Nah, go watch it. Have a good time though. Just have fun.
Don't criticize it like you would a good movie. Just like sit back, turn your brain off, and have fun.
Yeah.
We don't do that enough anymore. Just turn off your brain and have a fun movie. Yeah.
Here's my movie night that I'm going to propose to you boys.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, first of all, you watch Schindler's List.
Okay,
start off with something, just like fun and lighthearted.
Yeah, and then you watch Batman and Robin, and then you compare the two. Compare and contrast.
Yeah. See if there's any overlapping themes.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. That sounds like a good bonus episode.
what are two good movies that would go together to make a great movie night?
Yeah, what would make a good movie?
I'll tell you it'd make a great with Batman and Robin.
No, go ahead, Mike. Go ahead. I don't want to derail you. You've got one. You've got one locked and loaded.
It's the bad movies that I love.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the first 3 Fast and Furious movies. I've talked about it before.
Mm-hmm.
It's a great movie night. You just drink every time they do something silly, because they do something silly all the time.
While the tradition continues in Fast and the Furious movies.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. But like back in those ones were a little more, if you like cars, they're great movies.
Yeah.
But Tokyo Drift is unironically like kind of a good movie, but it's like, it is bad objectively. Because I think was it Michael Bay who did those movies back then? I don't even remember. No, I don't even know who's. I don't even know who's the director for those movies. I'm not a director person, but
I think they changed directors a lot with the Fast movies.
I think so too, but
I think they did early.
I'm looking into it.
Because they didn't know what they were for a while. Like, it started off as a car people movie, and then basically after 3, they went to just straight action movies, and then now they're just basically The Rock and his buddies and Vin Diesel just like making a ton of money is all it is.
Okay, I got some bangers from the director of the first Fast and the Furious movie.
Go.
Okay.
His name is Rob Cohen.
Yes,
I've heard that name before.
I've heard that name before.
Okay, notable works. This is according to Wikipedia.
Okay.
I'm going to skip the first one because I don't know what it is. But the second one, Dragonheart. Remember Dragonheart?
That was a good movie. I remember watching that as a kid.
Yeah. Fast and Furious, of course. Triple X.
That's another good bad movie. The first one, not the second one. Yeah, okay.
Stealth.
Okay. Yeah, there you go.
And The Mummy, Tomb of the Dragon Emperor. I think that was the third Mummy movie with...
Falling off, my boy. Falling off, Rob.
What's his name? God, who's the guy in the Mummy movies? Help me.
Oh, I don't remember his name either. I know who you're talking about, though. Brendan Fraser. Brendan Fraser. Yeah, thank you. Yeah. He's you know what? He's got a type of movie, you know? Yeah.
He's got his action movies and
yes. In the same vein, the other type of bad movies that I love and adore and that are perfect for like a movie night with your boys imbibing on some alcohol are just any entries in Nicolas Cage's catalog of movies of films.
Yes.
He's great. He's cheesy. He's ridiculous. I still haven't watched the movie about Nicolas Cage, like the weirdly self-referential one from a couple years ago. I really should watch that, actually.
Yeah, what was that movie?
I heard it was good. Oh man, but like the one that immediately comes to mind is like Face Off. Great cheesy movie. I'm gonna take his face off. Or they like jump a boat through like a ring of fire or something. It's just like they didn't care back then. They were just like, let's just do crazy stuff and have fun. And that's
National Treasure was also really good.
Yeah,
National Treasure,
movie.
yeah. Those are good movies. Con Air.
Yeah. Oh, Con Air.
Con Air, let go of the bunny. Or whatever the hell he says. I don't remember.
I'm just trying to find that movie. There it is. The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent.
Yes, there you go.
It was with Nicolas Cage, Pedro Pascal. I have seen that movie, actually.
Did you? Yeah. And was it good?
Yes. Yeah, it was pretty fun.
I heard it was good.
It was a fun movie. Yeah. Interesting movie for sure. Yeah. Nick Cage,
Yeah.
I think he plays himself, doesn't he?
Yes.
Yeah. Nicolas Cage as Nick Cage, a fictional.
He is the massive talent on which the unbearable weight is placed upon.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds so pretentious.
But it's like he's in on the joke, I think, from what I can tell.
Yeah. Just like out of context, it just sounds so pretentious.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
No, it definitely does. Yeah. But like Nick Cage can pull it off.
Yeah, I think
he's so ridiculous that it kind of works. Ghost Rider, by the way, just shouting out that Nicolas Cage joint.
Oh,
does anyone remember those?
Some of those old Marvel movies.
Yeah.
Daredevil,
Elektra.
Oh
Elektra,
God,
Catwoman. I've never seen Catwoman.
Did we just start not making good movies until like a certain point in time? Because it just seems like every movie that I loved when I was growing up is like objectively a bad movie somehow.
I think they just had a tough time finding what everything was, right? Like even Fast and the Furious, right? They were about car racing essentially.
Yeah.
And then they turned into superhero movies, basically. Now.
Yeah. Basically, you're right.
The Rock and everything.
Yeah,
I'm just trying to think of some other bad movies from when I was a kid that now
there's so many.
Looking back on, I'm like, that was awful. But like, I gotta watch it again.
Is Ferris Bueller still a good movie? Because I loved that movie growing up. Ferris
People
Bueller's
like
great.
Ferris Bueller.
Okay,
yeah, people like Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Well, I'll tell you a bad movie that I didn't like that I just want to kind of throw shade at a little bit. The Star Wars sequel trilogy.
Okay.
Yeah. Why? What did we do? Why are we here doing this now?
Well,
where we have to
the biggest problem with that was they had no plan.
No, they had no plan. But I mean, like, can't we just let sleeping dogs lie? You know?
No,
like,
apparently. Disney needs your money, Cole. They need your money.
They have this IP, and it's like the biggest IP ever, right? Star Wars. And they've done next to nothing with it that is good.
I hear the Mandalorian is good.
Mandalorian, the TV shows are pretty good, but the sequels were...
Sure. But I mean, okay, The Mandalorian was good.
Yep.
I haven't watched it. I'm not really interested in it.
You're not interested in the Star Wars TV shows for some reason. Yes.
But that's fine. But Book of Boba Fett,
terrible.
Heard nothing but bad things.
Yeah.
Ahsoka was mid at best.
Yeah.
The Acolyte
I heard good things about The Acolyte.
I've heard not good things about The Acolyte.
I've heard not good things about The Acolyte, but I saw like one fight scene. It looked pretty good.
I've heard everybody says that. The fight scenes in it, like the choreography in it is very good. Even Obi-Wan was kind of like I
liked Obi-Wan.
Like a 6 out of 10.
I think the problem with Obi-Wan, from what I could tell from it, is like it was the most by the numbers thing.
Yes.
Kind of like
absolutely.
Playing it super, super safe.
I think it had fun scenes, but then it had like scenes that completely ruined it for someone like me, like Flea trying to chase little Princess Leia through the forests of Alderaan.
Yeah, where like it's like, how are you not catching her?
Come on, you're Flea. You're the bass player for the Red Hot Chili Peppers. You should be able to catch her. Just wasn't crazy about
Rogue
that.
One was good.
Rogue One was good.
Rogue One's good. Yeah.
But even that, like, I'd still give it like a 7, you know? Like, it was good, but not terrific.
That came out right after Force Awakens, right?
Yeah.
I'm just trying to remember.
Force Awakens was pretty okay.
Well, I mean, it's just Star Wars again. Like, it's just...
Yeah. But I personally think
that,
like, the original Star Wars and, like, all that, I think they're held to, like... They're on this pedestal that I think that Star Wars fans will not let anything touch. And I don't think they necessarily are even the shining golden thing that's on the pedestal, that should be on the pedestal. I think they're good movies. I think they're entertaining. I think if they came out today, they would not do very well.
I think Empire Strikes Back and Star Wars, of course,
are
two terrific movies.
Well, I mean,
Star
Empire's your
Wars, of
favorite
course. Yeah. Star Wars, like A New Hope, changed movies for what it's worth. It changed how movies were made. And Empire Strikes Back is just like, keeps you on the edge of your seat through the whole movie. After those two, pretty much, yeah, kind of
Jedi's good.
7.5. Jedi's good, but not great. Not as good as the other two. The prequels we look back on with kind of rose-colored glasses. I'm a bit of an apologist lately with the prequel movies.
That's kind of how...
I think they've come around.
Yeah, that's
because
kind
the
of
people
how...
who watched them when they were young have the nostalgia glasses now. So it's like, everyone likes things that came out when they were kids, right?
And also, like, that's, like, people argue, like, well, that was George Lucas's vision, whereas the sequels aren't, so...
Yeah.
And at least, like, personally speaking, like, at least the prequels were, like, there was something there that George Lucas was trying to do. The execution wasn't there, but I think, like, the ideas were there. I actually like the political aspects of it. Yeah.
But, like, I think the problem with the sequels in, like, the new sequels is they're too corporate, they're too polished, they're too good, technically. And, like, the charm of the prequels is they're kind of a little bit crap. But, like, in a charming way, I think crap can be charming. You know what I mean?
Well, the prequels were, like, almost too big for their britches in a weird way. Like, George Lucas was trying to, like, do too much with CGI, and CGI wasn't there.
Yeah.
And then the prequels, and then the sequel trilogy came around, and it was like, we're just going to do everything in the computer. And it looks amazing. They look amazing. Incredible looking films.
I think, though, we should... we've talked about Star Wars lots on this podcast. Maybe let's talk about, like, some anime, maybe, that are good but bad.
But I want to talk about Star Wars, though.
I know.
Okay. No,
this is not the Star Wars podcast, though.
We'll talk about anime. Do you guys got any animes that were bad that you actually enjoy?
I mean, I guess technically SIO.
We do have Jay, I watch trash so you don't have to, Gardian, on this podcast.
True. I mean, I can go off a list, but, like, literally, I mean, we each have our own lists of shows that we've seen. But the first one that comes to mind is the Asterisk War.
Okay.
Which, like, it's it's the most, like, by the numbers, overpowered main character romp you could ever find. But, like, the fact that it's so predictable in, like, where it's gonna go was just so entertaining for me when I first watched it, because, like, every time I was like, it can't get more generic and bad than this.
Yeah, it can't be more bad.
It can't be more of a 3 out. I think I have it as, like, season 2 is like a 2 out of 10.
That good?
It's great. It found a way to prove me wrong and be like, no, we're that
the trash can be much stronger.
Yeah.
Yeah. Personally speaking, this is one that I enjoyed. It was a couple seasons ago that I will never apologize for, and that is Gushing Over Magical Girls.
You know that's getting a season 2?
It's getting a season 2. That's cool.
Can't wait. I had so much fun watching this show, and, like, every time I bring it up, it's like, oh, you like that? It's like,
really? Because I feel like
I like that.
I think it's just because it's, like, pretty well, like, it's pretty perverted, right? But, like, I think I've mostly seen positive receptions for that show, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it's kind of one of those guilty pleasures. Like, it's just a goofy show. I like the comedic aspects of it. It's so bright and colorful. The character dynamics is fun. It's almost like Overlord and how you're cheering for the bad guys, kind of, a little bit. But in this show, like, the bad guys really aren't bad guys. They're just bad in name only. But yeah, I really like Gushing Over Magical Girls. If you like, or if you don't mind ecchi stuff, I would suggest it. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah. speaking of like ecchi kind of trash sort of shows like that, this is not even remotely ecchi. Maybe a little bit. I think the three of us can unite and say Rent a Girlfriend should be on the list of like weirdly trash things that people really enjoy. Because like I haven't read it. I know Jay's like probably current on it. I don't even know.
Yeah, probably. Look at him.
Yeah, look at him.
He's got an anime podcast.
When season 3 was coming out, I mean, yeah. When season 3 was coming out, I actually like watched all of Rent a Girlfriend to catch up for season 3 because I was like, I just want to see what it's all about. I was like, just going to check out a couple episodes of the first season. Ended up like basically binging it because it was a lot of fun. I don't know. It's a stupid show. It's not a good show. You know nothing of any consequence is going to happen while you're watching it, but it is fun. It's fun to watch. And like the characters are earnest enough in it, I feel, other than Kazuya being like kind of a hateable character. I feel like, I don't know. I feel like it's not as bad as people like to bash on it. I don't know.
Well, I'll bash on it.
Yeah, bash away.
No, I never got into it. I didn't really like it. I didn't like the whole, like nothing happens.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's kind of like a Rumiko Takahashi manga where like nothing happens.
Like, I don't want to be like, I am a sophisticated media watcher, but I'm a sophisticated media watcher and I need something to happen. And if people are fine with that, great, all the power to you. But I just didn't get anything.
I don't know. Stuff happens, and maybe it's just because I don't get a lot of like when I watch shows, I don't get a ton of value out of watching like who are they going to get together and coming up with like these weird little fanfics in my head of this couple's going to happen, blah 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 blah, how the relationship's going to happen. I found that there was a lot of other stuff going on, and the interactions between the characters and Kazuya were like enough for me to be interested in it. Like the last season, there was a whole arc about damn it, what's the main girl's name? Jay, help me. Chizuru. Yeah, Chizuru. I'm bad with names. It was a whole arc about her and her like grandpa and her grandma and stuff, and it was like it's touching in a way, you know.
Maybe in anime form it would work better because you don't have that same like time investment as you do with manga, where you're like every week a new chapter comes out and you're like, I
read nothing this week. Yeah,
I am 5 years into this manga, and there has been no progression in any character relationships. Whereas in anime, it comes out every season. You watch the season, and then you can kind of set it aside for next season.
Well, I think like at the same time, that arc that Mike was talking about is the best arc in Rent a Girlfriend, and like
for sure anyway.
I think like if it had ended like after that arc, I would probably say it's like a 6 out of 10.
I'd go higher than that. Right. I'd go higher than that. But I'm an anime only, so.
But then, like, it keeps going, and it's been going for, like, I think 3 years since that arc.
Like, how many times has a chapter ended where they're like, we're going to start a relationship, and then the next chapter, it just kind of pulls the rug out from under you? You know? Like, not explicitly saying, like, we're going to start a relationship, but, like, that's the cliffhanger. Like, oh, they're right there. They're going to start it. And then nothing happens.
The next arc literally ends with one of them saying like we're together, and then like the next chapter is just like, no,
psych. JK,
gotcha. See, that I don't like because that's silly.
Yeah.
So there's apparently 340 chapters of it roughly, and season 3 ends around 160 something apparently. So yeah, there's a lot to go of nothing. Maybe it's
I think it's the longevity of it. Yeah,
that could be it.
Yeah. What a fool I have been for not mentioning my favorite trash anime.
Girlfriend. Lion.
Oh, girlfriend, you absolute.
What a doofus.
Yeah.
For liking girlfriend.
No, I love it. But we should probably move on. I don't want to. We do have a mailbag question we should get to.
Okay.
Do you guys have any last minute ones you just want to throw in just as a quick one?
I enjoyed
Girlfriend.
Yeah, Guilty Crown was kind of fun.
Oh,
but like really dumb.
I completely forgot about Guilty Crown.
Yeah.
How could I have forgotten about the 10 out of 10 anime that is Guilty Crown?
10 out of 10. 10 out of 10 anime.
A lot of Gundams kind of like objectively not great anime, but like they're fun. They fulfill the mecha funness of war crimes. So fun.
Yeah, it depends on the anime. Yeah.
It depends on which one it is.
Yeah. Well, let's we've talked about all of this not great stuff. Let us just like C-3PO in the oil bath in
it always comes back to Star Wars.
We're just gonna dive in.
Dive in. It's time for the mailbag.
It's mailbag time. If you got a mailbag question, you can send it over to us at our website, AniProPod.com/mailbag, or on our Discord. We've got a whole channel in there for that. This one is a patron priority mailbag from the Discord. Wee woo. It is from, we're taking their mailbag virginity, Uncle of Light.
Hey,
you're getting your name in green.
Thanks for submitting a mailbag.
Thank you for submitting a mailbag. Send in more, please. We need them. They sustain us. Gentleman, he asks this question: do you enjoy playing any Musou/Warriors games? Gentlemen, are you experienced in these types of games?
I've played a couple of them.
My answer is the same as Jay's so far. Yes, I've played a couple of them. I've played, I think, Fire Emblem Warriors and maybe Hyrule Warriors.
I've played Hyrule Warriors, the original one, not the second one, and Persona 5 Strikers.
Okay, yeah, Persona 5 Strikers. I forgot about that one. Yeah, I've played Persona 5 Strikers. I don't know if I count this as one, but it's like from the same. It's from Koei Tecmo as well, and that's the Attack on Titan games. They're kind of almost.
It's saying here on the list that there's a Berserk game that I think Cole's played. That's a Musou's game.
Yeah, that was going to be the last one I mentioned. There's a Berserk one as well, and that was a lot of fun too. That one I think is appropriate because you're guts, and you're just swarming. You're just going
Guts
through
life
swarms
is
and
a
swarms of
Musou
people.
game. Yeah.
I like them. They're fun. It came up at work today, actually. We were talking about, like, you know me, I like sim games, you know, because it's very like mindless, not difficult games. And to be frank, especially the way that I play them on easy mode, Musou games are not difficult. They're just button mashers, but it's so fun to just like mow through crowds of people.
You feel good. You feel good too. Like when you're just like so strong that you're just literally mowing through crowds of people.
It gives you that little hit
powerful.
of dopamine.
Yeah.
Every time you see like how powerful you really are.
Yeah. It's like Power Fantasy, the game pretty well.
Yeah, kind of. And yeah, it's like the least difficult type of action game, I guess.
Yeah.
I
don't want to like poo-poo on, like, I mean that in the best way. Like,
no, I think they're set up to be pretty, like, you can go further with the strategy if you want of it, but you can also just button mash your way through it. I think that's kind of the point of them, personally.
Yeah, like you can go through the game and, you know, do your combos and get combo counters, and then when you get to bosses, it's a little bit more difficult, of course. But for the most part, the gameplay, is just kind of get score high, big number, go burr.
Yeah,
number
big
get
number.
bigger.
Yeah. So I don't know if this really tells my thoughts on Musou games as much as, like, I have enjoyed every second I've played a Musou game. I have never made it more than like 2 or 3 hours into a Musou game. Because I just like kind of like eventually just kind of like, okay, I'm done playing that, and then I never come back to it. You know?
Yeah, I think it depends. You need like Persona 5 Strikers is probably like
I need to play that one.
I was going to,
because there's like a story to it.
I was going to say like Strikers both like has the Persona story that, like, if you love Persona 5, this is
exactly.
It's basically
a sequel,
Persona 5
right?
2.
It's a sequel.
But it also like has the Musou mechanics, but like it also incorporates a bit of the Persona mechanics into it.
Yeah.
So like there's a bit more strategy to it and a bit more RPG aspects to it that kind of flesh out the gameplay a bit better.
Yeah.
So like that one's my favorite one because of all those additional factors. Not to say I don't like Musou games. Like I liked Hyrule Warriors. But like after a while, kind of like what Mike said, It's kind of like I get the gameplay loop.
You kind of get your dopamine fix, and then like there's just not. I find that there's not really that draw that's like, oh, I need to get to the next part, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Also, the soundtrack in Strikers, so good.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's good.
Persona 5 soundtracks go brrr.
Yeah, I forgot about the Fate games on consoles. Are
I was
usually
waiting for you to talk
games.
about that.
Yeah.
And the most recent one, Fate Samurai Remnant, is good. For the same reason that Persona 5 Strikers is, it's a story. It's a whole self-contained story. You're not just like going from mission to mission. Like you're traversing through a world and doing stuff. That's a fun game too. If you like Strikers, Jay, you should play Samurai Remnant too.
Yeah.
It's good. Yeah.
It says Fate Extella Link is one of these games as well. Do you play that one?
Yeah, but those ones, Extella Link and Extella Link, whatever the sequel's called, those are more old school Musou games where you just kind of like load up the level, clear the level, next level.
Yeah. The second Hyrule Warriors game, which is a kind of a prequel to Breath of the Wild, but like kind of its own self-contained prequel.
Yeah.
Why do they always put these random like kind of lore important games as these Musou games?
Because
it's weird. It's like a weird trend that always seems to happen.
Yeah. But yeah, I like the Musou games when they do that, you know. Try to tell a story, maybe make it more of a game rather than just like a series of stages that you have to go through, which are fun too. Like
I don't think any of us have played any of the Dynasty Warrior games, which is where the genre came from.
That's the whole genre. But no, I haven't played any of them. I think I speak for all of us when we say, yeah, they're fun. We like them.
Yeah.
But not that
we're
much.
Not, they're fine.
They're fun.
Cole's the biggest fan.
With like an asterisk.
Yeah. I might, now that I've learned that Berserk game is a Musou game, I might download it, because honestly playing as Guts mowing down mobs of enemies kind of sounds up my alley a lot.
It kind of works for that specific genre.
But
I would say Persona 5 Strikers, which, Mike, I have a physical copy of if you want to borrow it.
They don't make PlayStations with disc ports anymore, Cole.
But
you need a physical copy.
It's a good thing you have one.
That's true.
Wait a second. Is that a new microphone?
Yes.
We'll talk about that off air. And I just noticed. Persona 5 Strikers and the Fate. Ooh. And the Fate, the Fate game. Both good games.
Yes.
And games. Jay, I would recommend the Fate one to you.
I need to play more Musou games. I kind of wish I'd finished the Fire Emblem Warriors game, but I just didn't, and that's what it is.
You still can.
I still can. Yes, you're correct. I literally can, but I will not.
Yeah, the second Fire Emblem Warriors game is another sequel to Three Houses that I've been meaning to play.
Which one did I play? Three Hopes?
Three Hopes is the sequel one.
Oh, okay. I played that one. I only played the sequel, and I didn't really like how it was like a weird like prequel retcon type thing. It was kind of strange. It was alternate universe, maybe.
Yeah.
Threw me for a loop. Yeah.
Anyway, we should probably take a break. My bladder is full of Matthew's wine.
Yeah.
And we got to talk about a show. I still got to finish it.
We don't, but we do.
I've got a couple more episodes of Berserk to watch, so I'm gonna go watch that.
I still got to
watch
the show.
Yeah. So
all right, let's reconvene in like 4 hours.
Yeah, but like it'll be like 30 seconds for the listeners.
Yeah.
So
yeah. And if you're the listener and you haven't watched the show, don't worry, we won't spoil things of Berserk. It'll be good.
Go read the manga.
Read the manga is our advice.
Go watch the show and then come back.
You don't have to.
I mean, but you could.
You could, because the show goes.
Exactly. Yeah.
No, you know what? Just to blow my load on my thoughts, this is the best show I've ever seen in my life.
What did you say?
Wow.
What did he say?
I'm not going to repeat myself, but this is the best show I've ever seen in my life.
You know I'm cutting.
Holy moly.
You know I'm cutting what you just said and making that a drop.
Yep.
Let's go to
break with the new mic.
sense of its word.
What?
Welcome back to AniPro. Yeah, Clang Berserk. Welcome back to AniPro. We just finished watching Berserk. Look at how happy we are. Exactly, yeah. I hope you all enjoyed your final moments of peace, because we are diving into the 2016 anime from the studios. Oh my god, what even
are they? What are they actually? I really actually don't know.
Malepency and Studio
Millepence?
Gemba.
Off to a hot start.
Two studios that are world renowned for creating absolute bangers of anime. Let me read the synopsis to you guys, because I think it the final line of the synopsis really sums up this show very well. Spurred by the flames raging in his heart, the black swordsman Guts continues his seemingly endless quest for revenge. Standing in his path are heinous outlaws, delusional evil spirits. Delusional evil spirits? What are they delusional about?
I think that's the people who made this show.
Yeah. And a devout child of God. Even as it chips away at his life, Guts continues to fight his enemies, who wield repulsive and inhuman power with nary but his body and his big ass sword. His strength as a human. I added the big ass. That was a little bit of a.
Well, he does have a dump truck.
He does have a big dump truck.
He does have a dumpy.
He's
got a cod piece. Good use of a cod piece in anime.
Yeah. What lies at the end of his travels? The answer is shrouded in the night, in quotation marks. This final line really sums it up. Strain your eyes and stare into the dark. Where we have watched Berserk 2016, the unfortunate adaptation of Berserk, the manga, the hit manga, the masterpiece manga from Miura. Man, what a show we watched this time.
What a program.
Yeah, so basically the show picks up, it kind of serves as a sequel to the Golden Age arc movies that came out recently.
Yeah, and that I feel like would have been good information, because I didn't quite realize that coming into this, that this was like a direct sequel. So I'm curious to know Jay's thoughts as someone who's never, for the listeners, Cole and I have read all of Berserk. Jay, how much knowledge did you have of Berserk coming into this?
The first volume.
Okay.
So you knew none of the setup of the Golden Age arc.
Correct.
Yeah, Jay read the prequel to the prequel.
Yes.
Essentially of this season.
Basically read like the one shot that would like basically get turned into Berserk.
Yeah.
So
Black Swords.
Pretty confusing probably, I'd imagine, for you this season.
So I got one episode in and I was like, okay, that's Guts, I understand. And then I got to episode 2 and I was like, wait, what's going on?
Yes. Here's some flashbacks that mean nothing to you.
Yeah. Well, let me just say
we'll get there. Yeah.
This show is bold for cutting out probably one of the most popular arcs in the Berserk manga. The Lost Children arc is just gone. It's just gone.
Yes.
It doesn't exist in this
continuity,
this telling. Which
I think it's a semi-controversial arc, which is probably why.
Yeah, I mean, okay, but like it's Berserk, though.
Yeah, I know.
If you're gonna do Berserk, you got to do it.
Yeah. Why are we censoring the clearly like super dark and super gory and super graphic, something that's renowned for how graphic and it doesn't pull its punches? Why are we censoring that?
Just as a general observation about this show that kind of stands in the way of me, what could have really pushed this over the edge into being an actual masterpiece. Why did they take the show and like try to adapt it into like a shonen story? Did you guys pick up on that as well?
A little bit.
I kind of, my takeaway from what, like my big picture takeaway was like, oh, okay, they're just basically trying to make this like an action show. And it's kind of like, and I guess we'll probably get into the more formal parts of the review at some point.
We will,
but
right
like,
away. Yeah.
In my mind, like it's like, oh, okay, this is this was done by someone who doesn't understand Berserk. Kind of like how I was saying, like some of the takes on like Attack on Titan, for example, where like they think Aaron's like, oh, he's the hero, or oh, he's like, they don't quite get it. I feel like this was done by someone who doesn't quite get the point of Berserk, that it's supposed to be like all about the feels, not with cool action sprinkled in, is kind of how I see Berserk. Good job, Cole.
Thank you.
And can you agree, Cole? Do you feel like they like basically try to make this, okay, let's fast forward through all the boring character building stuff and just have fights that are terribly animated and like choreographed to
the way I took it was like they were like, oh yeah, the people, the Berserk fans, they've seen the previous anime.
Yes.
They know what's going on 19
read the
years
manga.
later. They'll be able to jump right back in. Meanwhile, there was probably like a whole new swarm of Berserk fans that like are hearing about this masterpiece manga called Berserk and are looking forward to jump into it because they don't read manga, but they're looking forward to the anime. And they go in and they're like, what is this? What's going on?
What is
I don't
happening?
get it.
They go in and they watch like one episode and they're like,
That is one big pile of shit.
Yeah. Okay, so Mike alluded to it. We do have a formal structure to our reviews, which I think we should
keeps
get
us
into
on topic. Keeps us on topic at least. Rough structure. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's talk about our characters. So let's just kind of run through our main cast here. Of course, we've got Guts. Does Guts need any introduction? He is a man who runs on anger and revenge.
And
I have
that's the
heard him
story.
described as a man who is too angry to die, and I cannot think of a better way to describe Guts.
Yes. Especially at this point in the story.
Yes.
Yeah, he's just
Life has served him a super raw deal, and
Yeah. He comes across as a guy with a massive chip on his shoulder.
oh yeah.
Wouldn't it be nice to know why he had that chip on his shoulder, Jay?
You know?
Watch the prequel movies, Jay. That'll
Well,
help
you know what? Just going off of this show, it really hasn't incentivized me to do that.
That's I've heard the movies are actually quite good for what it's worth.
The golden age. Well, I mean, it's
the golden age is
compared
probably
to
the best
this,
arc. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I don't even dislike this arc per se. It's just like, why would you guys start off with this?
Because they already did the movies.
Yeah, because they already did the movies, so they're doing a
No,
sequel.
but there was a whole arc in between. That's what I mean.
Oh,
Like, he could have
that
done
one's not
Lost
the
Children.
That one's not the popular one. This next
It
one
is the popular
It is
one.
popular.
Oh, is it?
It just involves like kind of like nude
Questionable.
children and questionable
Yeah.
stuff. So it's kind of
Well, I mean, they could have just
I
turned
get
the
it.
children into Ken and Barbie dolls like they do to every other nude person in this show.
yeah. I think they're uncensored in the Blu-ray, but yeah. And they improved some of the animation of the Blu-ray too. But
Oh,
yes,
I'm sure.
Guts,
Well,
we all
what?
not that much. Don't worry.
I mean, going from
Guts.
a 1 to a 2 is definitely an improvement.
Guts.
Too angry to die. Big sword. I love that they say his classic line about his sword though. In this, they managed to get that right, where they describe his sword as, you can't even describe it as a sword. It's more like a giant piece of iron that he swings around.
Yeah, it's a hunk of iron that's been sharpened, essentially.
Yeah. And like, I forget what the exact line is, but I like that they managed to deliver at least that line. And boy, does his sword.
It goes burr.
Oh, we'll get into that during sound design, because that is one of the points of the show.
Yes.
I'll say.
It's infamous, I would say. I knew about that before I watched this, to be honest with you.
It is infamous. I like Guts as a character. In this arc, though, he's very one-dimensional. He is just like point A to point B. He want to save Casca, and that's it.
Well,
that's all that he
it's
wants.
funny. He's introduced in the show, and again, I'm going off of like just having seen the show, and that's it.
Yep.
So like, if there's something else that happened in the manga or whatever, but
This is like a weird reversal, Jay.
Yeah.
You are the one who knows nothing about the manga, and me and Cole will be the experts. So you just honestly, your opinion here is actually incredibly important.
anyway,
Yes.
so he's introduced as like this loner who like he wants nothing to do with other people, And then by episode 2 or like 3 or whatever, it flips and suddenly he super cares
got a
about
crowd
someone
of people.
else.
Yeah.
And so many people are surrounding him, and it's like, that's like a complete 180 from how he was introduced.
I thought about that too, just from like what it must be like from Jay's point of view. Is like, why does he care so much about Casca? Right? From your point of view,
bit. Like I know that like
sure,
it kind of alludes to it that like they were in the same group together.
Mm-hmm.
Back before Griffith turned evil. I also know Griffith is evil, and he's in like the very end of the show.
Spoilers.
Yeah,
I'm kidding.
Well, I mean,
he's one
spoilers
of the most
for a manga
villains.
that came out in the mid '90s. Yeah,
he's an infamous villain. One of the best villains.
He's one of the most
honestly.
iconic villains in anime. So I mean,
yes.
Yeah.
You bring up great points, and let me tell you, Jay, as someone who loves this manga, they massacred every single character in this show. So we can talk about.
I think
the one that I
Puck
think is atrocious. No, I hate what they did to my guy Puck.
What
How
do you mean?
dare you say? How dare you?
Okay, okay. Puck's an elf who.
Yes.
That's one critique I'll give to Berserk in general. Puck is not an elf. Puck is a fairy. Puck should be a fairy. He's not an elf. Yeah. Whatever. I don't know. He's just a little guy. He's just a little guy.
He's the comedic relief, basically.
He's the comedic relief.
I didn't find myself caring about Puck because he was just kind of there.
Why would you care about him? They cut every single moment of character development that Guts and Puck have in the manga. So Puck just turns into this annoying little caricature.
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
That is like he's just basically like, okay, what is the point of this guy? He's literally just this annoying thing that flies around. It doesn't seem like Guts particularly likes him at all in this.
He's barely with Guts. Like he's kind of always doing his own thing.
You're right, Mike. You're right. I think I'm looking at this too much from a manga reader's point of view.
Forget about the manga. Pretend you don't know about the manga.
Cole,
this is
my lens that we're looking at it from.
Yeah, it's true. Puck just like it's just kind of decided at one point that Guts and Puck kind of get along. Where they had a whole arc.
I know that they didn't do
to like get along.
Yeah. Puck's great though in the manga, but in this he's just annoying, honestly, because he doesn't really serve any purpose in this.
The most entertaining thing I got from Puck was like when he gets that like silly face. Sometimes,
Chestnut Puck. Yeah,
Chestnut Puck. Yeah. Similar to him, there's this other tag along, Isidro.
Yeah. Isidro, whatever. He throws
like
rocks
him.
at people.
He was okay in this, I thought.
He's better in this because he's like introduced more correctly. It's weird because he's introduced earlier than he should be.
Yes, but it works anime, kind of.
But like he's not actually introduced in the manga until essentially when he's introduced in this.
So is that the kid guy with the red hair?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought it was really weird because like they introduce him at the very beginning of the episode, and then by the end of episode 1, which is where he's introduced, Guts is kind of doing a completely different thing unrelated to him, and just
because he's not supposed to be there.
He's not supposed to be there.
He's not supposed to be there. At that point in the manga, the Guts and the Puck thing happen.
Mm-hmm.
Isidro is not there. He's not a character at that point.
Neither is my best girl either, by the way, who randomly makes an appearance in that first episode as well.
Yeah,
so random. Anyway, I had to bring it up.
The Lord girl that stabs Guts in episode 2.
No, she is the
there.
Best
that actually the witch.
Shirke.
Yeah.
Yeah. The little witch who's
Isidro.
Yeah, Isidro.
He's like he's a little thief, basically, like a brat. He's really the embodiment of brat, I'd say.
He's
kind of. You can tell Guts kind of views him as like maybe how he would have maybe turned out. Like I think he feels like a father figure a little bit to Isidro, a little bit.
Really? Isidro is probably the character who like gets the least amount of. Again, Mike, you're conflating manga.
Oh yeah,
manga
you're right.
With this. Yeah,
damn it.
Guts just kind of. All of these people just kind of hang off Guts, and he doesn't care.
I'm gonna be honest. Like I got nothing from like character interaction or anything from this. It's just like they're just kind of there.
Well, they kind of are. They all hang off of Guts, and then like as the story progresses, you start to like he starts to have this found family and stuff. But at this point, it's kind of shit. It's kind of bad.
Yeah.
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 What did you think of Casca, Jay?
So Casca, I feel like was ruined by how, I don't know if it was necessarily the voice actor's fault, but like how her voice was portrayed to to show what she was going through, if that makes sense. Like, it sounded sillier than sad, if that makes sense.
That's accurate. I feel like that's how it's supposed to be, because like at this point her mind is like gone, is kind of what you're supposed to know, and that she's like basically like mentally incapacitated because she can't deal with her trauma.
It just like the way the voice acting was conveyed, it didn't come across as like sad or anything. Just
yeah. I don't think it's supposed to be.
Yeah, Casca at this point is less a character and more of like just a plot point, kind of.
Yeah. She kind of doesn't. Yeah. Anyway.
Well, no, she doesn't do anything.
No.
She just kind of gets caught.
She
can't do anything.
And that's not like a shot against her. Like there's the Golden Age arc. She is a major character in that.
Jay watched the Golden Age arc.
I feel like if I had seen the Golden Age arc and like knew more about more about Casca, I'd be like, oh, that's sad. What what happened to her? But it's more just like, oh,
it's pretty sad.
Pretty sad.
Yeah, I would say it's sad. I would say it's sad. Running through other characters, Farnese.
She actually like was honestly a main character of this season. I thought like she's in almost every episode. She's
like her.
How would you describe her? She's like I think she's a princess, a noble or something.
She's like
also a member of the Holy Knights.
Yeah, she's a member of the Holy Chain Knights or whatever the hell they're called. Let me just say the Knight Corps in Berserk are always called something stupid, and this continues the tradition. She's like the leader of it, but she's like very, very like devout in her faith. But then as the story progresses, she kind of second guesses her faith. And I like that aspect to her story.
Yeah, she's arguably her and Serpico were definitely like probably the most actually compelling characters maybe in this season, I would say. I'm curious what Jay thinks.
That's the blonde girl that was like the commander, right?
Yeah. And then Serpico was the boy that kind of tagged along with her.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'd say that they were, I'll say they're the best or most interesting characters, but that doesn't say too much.
Yeah.
Because like this show didn't really do much to make me care about anyone.
Yeah.
The
problem with Serpico is he's so like fly by night. Like he just does whatever Farnese says.
Yeah.
She's like, I'm going here. And then like at the end of the season, she's like, I'm going this way. And he's like, okay, I'll just tag along with you. I guess that's what I'm doing.
Well, because they have to be together.
And you don't know why they have to be together because they literally just skip over the whole thing. Again. They did one thing with their interactions that there's one line in this that when they said it kind of like actually made me go, wait, what? Because there's a pretty big reveal that they drop in this regarding the relationship between the two of these. Cole knows what it is. In this, it's just like straight up, oh, okay, they both know. Like, but I don't think in the manga.
I don't think that happens. I know what you're talking about. But maybe in the stub they do by accident, but in the sub, she says what she says in the manga.
Okay, because in the dub, she says our mother.
Yeah, no, she doesn't say that.
Oh, okay. That's maybe a dub thing then.
Yeah. Anyway. The characters are
I think the characters read the manga.
We've kind of gone over it, but kind of one note. And also, I guess watch the other Berserk stuff if you want to watch this for whatever.
Watch the other Berserk stuff.
Reason.
I think I've heard that the Golden Age arc, either of them are actually pretty decent.
Yeah.
This is dog water. Yeah.
Anyway, I don't want to spoil it because there is lots to talk about. What about voice acting? What about voice acting? Mike, did you watch this sub or dub?
Dub. I watched a dub.
Yeah, he kind of alluded to it. And
I thought the dub was serviceable. The one I really liked, I think Kaiji Tang was the Guts, and he did a good job of it as well. Mm-hmm. The only thing that so there was one point in the show where I had to turn on the subtitles because my daughter, I was holding her and she started kind of like screaming. So I turned on the subtitles so I could like still see what was going on.
Yeah.
And I don't know if Crunchyroll or whatever used like auto translate for the subtitles, but I had to turn them off and pause it because it was like so atrociously wrong that like it was honestly like this is actually making me more confused. I can't have these on. So like anyway, the voice acting is good is what I'll say. Please fix the subtitles for the closed captioning.
I mean, I don't really have any comments on the voice acting. Everybody's fine. Everybody's doing as good of a job as they possibly can.
Yeah, I mean, the comment I wanted to give on the voice acting was like Guts' voice is like fits what he looks like perfectly.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
yeah, everybody's.
But I mean,
everybody's everybody.
Yeah, I looked into the Seiyu for Guts, and this guy only does Guts and has only ever done Guts.
Gotta respect it.
So I guess like that he is the Guts guy. He's
Which
the guy
Guts
you bring in
guy.
to play Guts.
It is funny scrolling through his Annie list and it's just Guts.
Yeah,
it's only Guts.
Literally just
it's
Guts.
only Guts. They just bring him in to play Guts.
Yeah, that is funny.
So just to quickly elaborate on the subtitles thing, I found some screenshots that I want to share with you guys. They call Farnese Fonzie in the closed captions.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, that's one.
Makes sense.
They call the assassin people in this the cushions, like couch cushions.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. They're cushions, by the way.
There's it just sounds like they like there's one thing where the closed caption literally is it's when the scene when Farnese and the horse, the questionable horse of the motives of the horse there.
Yeah.
The horse says to her, "Email me."
That's AI. That's
right?
auto-generated closed captioning. Come on, Crunchyroll.
There's one I'm reading here that's Nancy, what the hell? Rip, you little piece.
Come on. They did that? Like they did that.
How about this one?
That's
iPad,
atrocious.
it belongs to me, my warm body.
Okay. I'm calling them out straight up. Crunchyroll, that's bad.
That's BS.
That's awful. You guys you guys need to be called out for that. That's not cool.
Do we have to stop, get some help?
I don't think we do, but I wish we did.
I'm not making a joke though. Like that's really bad.
No,
like
genuinely,
that's
like
terrible.
put yourselves in the shoes of a like hearing impaired person trying to watch this.
Yeah.
They are not watching the same show as you.
They don't understand what's going on.
No.
Yeah. No, that's not cool.
That's messed up.
Yeah.
I remember also Moses, the weird priest guy. He was Moses in this as well.
Very
if you
good.
had the subs on, yeah.
Well, I mean, he split the Red Sea and saved all the Jews.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, character design in this show. Not good. Not good. Atrocious. Bad. Any visual aspect of this show is bad. I would say.
Yeah. I mean, like there were parts where I was like, oh, they're definitely trying to recreate the manga panels, but they're not.
Yeah.
But like it's very abridged.
Yeah.
I will say, and to give this show some credit a little bit, I do, as I watched this show, I felt like I saw the vision at
For
least.
sure.
Yes.
I felt like I understand what the pitch was.
Yes.
I understand what they were trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I think at times, you can kind of see where it kind of works. But the character designs, see, they did the one good thing with the character designs. I'm going to try to be a little positive here. The character designs, the actual designs and the models themselves weren't actually that horrendous most of the time outside of Guts.
Yeah.
The one thing I feel like they also did that I kind of appreciated was to roughen them up a little bit. They did these weird, like, sketchy lines on them.
It was very Attack on Titan.
I was
very Attack on Titan-y.
I was very hit or miss on that because like sometimes I was like, oh, that looks good. Other times I was like, that looks just like you put it on there because you needed an extra texture on
they didn't. They had a good idea of making the characters look more interesting with it, but they also kind of like they didn't use it properly because it was like they'd move and the lines wouldn't move properly, and you're kind of like, oh, that doesn't make sense.
I think that basically sums up the visual aspect of the show in general. I can see what they were trying to do, but they just couldn't do it properly.
Yeah.
My first thought while watching the show was like it felt like they gave the producers their like first run through of making of doing the CG animation, and they saw it, and they were like excellent, work on the next one. They're like but this is just the test run. No, it's
this
good.
is like the animatic
just send
for
it.
When you look at like, and we're kind of getting into production already a little bit, but like honestly, when you look at like the staff on this, I don't think really any of them ever really did CG anime before.
Like
so it's such a weird choice.
Mike's right. Like you see some stuff and you're like, okay,
I see it.
That's so close, but then like they almost get like too big for their britches in a weird way. Like it's like just like let the show it's like a Gohan's anime.
Yeah, I was gonna say that
the camera's moving around way too much.
Yeah,
just let the scene breathe.
Get out of your own way.
We don't need these Dutch angles and like weird zoom ins on people and like weird faded out character models in behind them, and like it's very strange. It's very strange.
That's pretty apt. Like I had myself thinking a lot like, couldn't you have just used a cut instead of zooming and panning?
Yeah.
I think there's something about CG anime that like maybe the people who don't quite get it are just like, wait, we can do anything we want with the camera? Let's do everything we can with the camera.
I think that's
like,
it.
No. Like literally
people,
yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. No, I was just gonna add to what you were saying. Like, I think it's people just saying like,
they're not restricted. They don't realize you don't do too much.
Restrict yourself then.
Yeah.
Like, you need to. Yeah. Cause it's sometimes watching the show, it kind of like makes you queasy in a weird way. Not literally, but like you can't move around this much. It just doesn't work.
Yeah. Like a good example is in the first episode, there's like a bar fight, right? And because the camera's moving so much and the shot selection's so weird in this, it just like you have literally no idea where anyone is, what's happening, what the bar actually is like as a space. You're just kind of watching it, and it's like there's people flying around on screen, but you have no concept of what's really happening. And that just describes most of the action in the show.
And just the blending of the CG and the 2D animation, like this show walked so X-Arm could run. Like this is unbelievable. I'm trying not to be hyperbolic,
so X-Arm could walk.
Yeah, I'm trying not to be hyperbolic. This is the ugliest show I've ever seen.
Yeah.
I mean,
I watched Kami Arabi God App. That was a pretty ugly show too.
I don't know if I'd say the ugliest, but it's definitely up there.
It's up there. Yeah. Like the ghouls and stuff were like anytime they fought like hordes of armies. That was pretty ugly.
It's not even just the hordes of armies. It's like, okay, we've got Nina. Nina's here, and she's CG, and then her friends, her other ladies of the night, are behind her, and they're all in 2D.
Yeah,
and it's atrocious.
And anytime a character is 2D, they don't move. They're static images.
And it's like, you clearly just didn't have 3D models for these three characters.
Yeah.
That's what happened. So you had to just draw them in.
And then you were like, we cannot afford 1 second of animating a second.
Yeah.
A second.
And it just takes me out of it. It just takes me out of that anime moment. There was one good shot. There was one good shot in this anime. And it's when it's that scene that Mike and I were talking about with Farnese and Serpico. And it's immediately after Farnese slaps Serpico, and it's just a close-up shot of Farnese's face. And it works because the model is good, and the camera's not spinning around doing some weird cartwheels on her. She's just talking, and I'm like, okay, I can see this works. Mm-hmm. And then it immediately goes to some other bullshit.
It just kind of seemed like maybe they didn't know what they were doing, and that's just kind of like the simplest way to put it, is they really just didn't know what they were doing with 3D anime. And I just kept, like you said, I kept thinking of Gohan's, because the camera just does too much in this, and the animations really, you just feel like the models and like the technology maybe wasn't there at the time, but that's just not true, because Land of the Lustrous kind of came out around the same time, I believe.
Yeah. The thing that I thought while watching this was like they got a new program, like a new CG program that they were like, okay, we want to
gotta use this on something, right?
Yeah, like
no.
If they were experienced with CG, I don't believe for a second that it would have turned out like this.
I just go back to the animatic thing. Like, I think this was like they're using a program that's not appropriate for what they're trying to do. Almost, it feels like. Mm-hmm. Like, this is like a program that you would use for like storyboarding something.
Yeah.
You know? And then you're trying to use it for like actual animation for something that's being released for the public. And yeah, it just doesn't work. Well, let's talk about the OST of this show.
See,
I love the Guts theme. It's so funny to me because it's like everything in this is so generic, and then they try to throw in this like Guts theme, and it doesn't work. Not Guts' theme, but like Guts has a particular theme in this show.
Yeah, these songs, like a lot of the time I would be listening to them and be like, what is this even doing? Like, I think like one of them had like this weird reverb fart sound in it, and I was like, what's going on? And none of it sounds cohesive with each other at all. They just sound like they went to a royalty-free website and said like a dark fantasy and just selected all the ones that they listened to for 20 seconds.
Yeah. Just another thing in this anime that like could have used a little more time in the shop, I think. Mike, what did you think of the music in this one?
I honestly, I don't know what to think of it, because at times I was kind of like into like how overproduced this was a little bit in terms of the soundtrack, and I didn't think. There was times when, I definitely thought like what Jay said, where I was like, what is this? What is going on right now? Why is this happening? But there was other times, like I think in the later fight, for example, against the priest guy there, I was kind of like, I'm kind of into like how intense and ridiculous this is a little bit, and like some of the eerie sound effects. But for the most part, I'd say it was like a solid like, what's going on for most of this. And like the most atrocious thing, which is we've been playing the drop all episode, is the clang. Anytime Guts touches his goddamn sword, it's just this sound. It doesn't matter if he just touches the handle, and all of a sudden it's just, he swings it through a ghost, and then it's this, and he swings it through a horde of people, and it's
literally, he will grab his sword and it'll be like clank. It is like, okay,
I don't know
guys,
what that's all about.
We got to come up with a sound for this big sword. Okay, grab your pots, grab your pans. Let's start clanking them together, because that's what we're going to use for this sound effect. And if that's what they were going for, they nailed it. It sounds like pots. It sounds like pans.
You know what it actually could be, now that I think about it? If it actually is when he grabs his sword and whatever, because like I stopped paying attention after a while. I was like, okay, this is stupid.
Yep.
If I'm thinking that there's a very good possibility that the sword has a property in like on the back end of this, that whenever something touches it, a clang sound plays.
But like again,
and some of them are like desynced too, which is kind of weird. When I was watching it on Crunchyroll, like they didn't happen when they were supposed to happen, I felt.
Right. Again, I get it. You know, Guts has a big sword and needs to have like a big sound. So I get what they were trying to go for. It was just a failure It was just a failure in the implementation of that vision.
Well, like,
again,
easy way to fix this. Take a big piece of metal, if you can afford one, and just like swing it against various things and see what sound it makes.
well, I don't mind that sound for like if he's in a sword fight or when he's fighting Mozgus at the end.
Right.
That
Does
sound
make
makes sense. But it's almost like they work backwards with the sound. Like, okay, Guts, when he's hitting this big dude who's really hard, it makes this clanking sound. How about when he hits also like a big blood thing or a human or cuts through a horse? It also makes that sound. Yeah. And they're like, okay, sure.
Do we have any budget left for other sounds?
No, we've already bought our 3 Guts sword sounds. Sorry.
Like, I don't know, like maybe they rushed it. Like maybe the producers up above were like, we got to get this out faster than it needs to be.
You know what I was kind of thinking as I was watching this a little bit is like, I wonder how popular Berserk really is in Japan. Because it's super popular in Western markets, obviously. Like we all, like in the West, we love Berserk, I'd say.
And for years we have.
For years, yeah. But I feel like you don't, whenever you see like Japanese people say they're like their favorite manga and stuff like that, it's pretty, I don't know if I've ever seen a person say Berserk. And we don't get a lot of figures. We don't get a lot of Berserk merch. We don't get a lot of collabs. So I wonder if it's just, it's not as popular over there. So they just weren't like, they just didn't see the need to put this high budget investment into this show, which
I don't know. Maybe.
I don't know. It's just something that came to my mind. I don't know. I don't know the answer, but it's just something that I thought of that this show made me realize a little bit.
Yeah, it's an interesting thought. I've never, you mentioned that and you're right. I've never seen that before, but
there's no way to know either. There's no way to really kind of quantify it.
Yeah. Can we talk about the OP for this show?
It's kind
of bad.
Weird.
Yeah,
it's kind of bad.
Like subpar rock song.
It doesn't fit the show.
No.
The song is bad. I got to give it kudos for, I guess, retelling all of the Golden Age arc in the OP to at least give someone like Jay a modicum of some kind of backstory to this.
If they bothered to watch it, because it's pretty bad.
I watched it the first time. It looked like incoherent nonsense, so I skipped it every time after that.
Yeah.
Pretty well. Yeah.
Yeah. And again, like it's like they were trying to like do a shonen show. It's very shonen. It's a very shonen.
That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I was gonna say. Is it's like the perfect, you know how OPs often are like a pretty good descriptor of the show themselves. They're honestly more of like a trailer. I think the OP tells what the director was going for with this, where they're like, okay, but let's see. I'm going to make a Berserk anime. What's the most important thing of Berserk that I want to translate to the viewers? Like, what do I really want? What is the most important thing to get across to them? That Guts is a badass and he swings his sword and it's awesome and it's an action anime. And that's just not really what Berserk is. But it's like you can see that that's what this person views Berserk as they were doing the OP. I think that's what they were going for. And I think that's probably the reason why it's so critically panned.
Like in the final fight, they're like shouting attack names, and I'm like,
oh yeah, that's a meme even in the manga. The dog's breath thing. Yeah. But I think that's because Mozgus is supposed to be like
ridiculous.
Yeah. Anyway, what about the ED? ED
skipped it almost ever. I watched it because I had to one time at least, but every other time I skipped it.
It's scrolling text on a
you know what?
Dynamic background, I guess.
This is the type of ED Cole's. I knew Cole was gonna do this.
I don't like this ED.
Okay.
I'm not gonna put this on any playlist. I'm not gonna do anything. I just gotta give it kudos when it's kind of deserved. At least they tried something and almost executed it. You know, they were trying to kind of trace out the characters and that like weird like line art thing and it worked better than anything else in this show. Which is not
that
much.
Doesn't say much.
Yeah,
that doesn't say much, but at least they tried something and it almost worked.
An attempt was made.
An attempt was made and almost succeeded. Almost. I just wanted to point out, the ED, I skipped it every time too. Same with the OP. Like I couldn't.
I skipped.
Let's say, and also skipped the 30-second of both the Funimation and the, Universal logo?
Universal logo.
Universal. And why do we need 30 seconds of both of those intros? Like, get out of here with that.
When I saw the Universal logo,
I gotta get through this.
My first thought was, really, Universal? You want to put your name on this? Are you sure?
Yeah. I see the Universal logo and I think of Jurassic Park, but
I think
now my mind is tainted. Do we need to talk about the plot for this one? I mean,
I think
didn't know it was going on half the time.
Yeah, the plot is almost incoherent because it's so. I've said this a couple times. I think the important part of Berserk is the stuff that happens between the fighting, the interactions between Guts and all his like comrades and why they care about each other. And this just felt like they're like, that stuff's boring. That's bullshit. Let's just get to the fight. That's the cool stuff. We want to see Guts swing his gang sword around and make clanging noises. Ignore the rest.
Yeah.
And that's basically a summary of the plot and pacing of this thing.
I watched this and I think you guys could not have started on a worse arc for Berserk.
But they didn't start here, though. They
It's
started
weird,
on the
though,
golden age.
No, but I mean, this is the anime. You know, this is Berserk.
Yeah.
You know, if somebody's going out and they're like, I want to watch Berserk. Okay, how about I watch Berserk? And it's this.
That's true. Yeah. That's true. Yeah. That's a good point.
So there was like one moment that I thought like, okay, I can see Mira's vision here. And that was like at the end of episode 1 when he's walking and all the like ghosts are wailing at him.
Yeah.
And like he's kind of like, you're cursed to be alone.
Yeah.
Blah, blah,
he's
blah,
the
blah.
wanderer is what the Skull
and like
Knight calls
I thought
him.
like, okay, I can see something there.
Yeah.
But that was like the one moment that actually tries to do something with that.
Mike just mentioned the Skull Knight. The Skull Knight is the only character that works in this awful animation.
The Skull Knight's actually done quite well, I would agree.
Because he's like ethereal and weird.
Yeah, and weird and creepy.
Sorry,
and like,
but
you still don't
like
really understand. Yeah.
Yeah, like it's, I don't know.
Again.
Like, why can't they just do a good Berserk anime?
I don't know.
Why is this what we got?
It must be my thing that I said, where it's just maybe that they just don't want to. There's no demand for it, I guess. I don't know.
Maybe. I don't know, but I just remembered, like, just to bounce off what that said, like, remember when Miura passed away and like all of the accolades and messages that it was received? Like, obviously he's well respected in Japan.
Yeah, very.
And this is what we get? This is what we get?
He directed episodes of this, FYI.
Miura should not be directing anime. He's a mangaka.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Those two things do not mesh.
If he's storyboarding it, like, fine.
Yeah.
But like directing the whole thing,
that's a problem, actually. I didn't know that, Mike, and that's if he directed some episodes, that's...
I think he directed an episode.
Okay.
I think he did one episode, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I just think, like, when it comes to the plot of this, it's like, this was a terrible place to start an anime. You know, like, you should have done Lost Children. At least you kind of get, like, Guts being a character and not just a maniac. You know?
Well, like, this takes place after all the exposition.
What exposition?
Well, that's what I'm saying. It takes place after it all.
Mm-hmm.
So,
no,
like,
that's what I mean. So, like, if you watch the show, like, Guts is just a dude.
Yeah, I'm agreeing with you, Cole.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, it's like I said, it's like you also said, Cole. They basically like shonenized Berserk, which it just takes all of the meaning of Berserk out of it. But I feel like we've kind of hit that horse. We've kind of beating
the horse.
That weird, creepy
it's
horse
like that
thing.
Simpsons meme of like, stop, he's already dead.
Stop, he's already dead.
Yeah. Themes and messages.
Jay, my friend, you
Yeah.
took courses in creative writing. What are the themes in this?
I know what they're supposed. See, the thing is, I know what they're supposed to be, but I don't think they come through at all.
Learn to read manga better and adapt your manga to a higher degree than this.
Yeah, what not to do.
Yeah.
Don't just flip. Don't just flip to the action and be like, yeah, just do that.
This is a good. You know what? This is a good course for what not to do if you're adapting a well-regarded product.
Yeah, I mean, like what we should be seeing is like it's a classic theme in like seinen manga is like, you know, found family. You know, Guts is being
learning
surrounded
to cope
by these
with
people.
your past and
But we get none of that. None of that. We get Big Sword go clang. We get big pile of shit.
Probably the only actual real theme, if I were to like truly like think of just the anime here, is that organized religion is questionable. Maybe it's maybe the only take that I see out of this.
Yeah, but like I feel like they kind of stumbled into that. To be honest, like I don't feel like
I don't think
that was intentional.
No, it's just purely like they're like, because
it's intentional in the sense that like it's written into the story. Miura obviously meant for that to be a thing, but like I don't think that the creators of this show.
A lot of the bright points of this show are where Miura's original vision kind of shine through the crap. Like it's like they accidentally just like they just adapted what he did, and then you're like, oh, that's really good. And it's like, because they just actually adapted it. Yeah. Recommendations.
I was just gonna say, do you guys want to dare to dive into the best boy, best girl?
Oh, we should, I guess.
Yeah. Let's start with best boy. I'm going through the list here.
I was just gonna say Guts because he's the only one that like.
You know who I'm going with? I'm going with Skull Knight. He's fun.
Okay.
I like Skull Knight. I like how he keeps like saving that one girl. And he's just kind of, I don't know, he's just like this old man who's just like there.
Yeah.
I don't know. He's just a fun character to me.
I'm into that.
Yeah.
Skull Knight. Puck? No, they butchered my boy Puck. They butchered him. I'm going to go
Griffiths?
Who shows up like at the very end.
I'm going to go Isidro, I think.
Yeah,
but honestly, sense. I could go Skull Knight or Guts as well, because even though Guts is kind of butchered in this, he's still cool.
He's still there.
He's still cool. Guts.
Yeah,
like I don't think they screwed up Guts. I think they just didn't tell the proper part of the story.
They just kind of took out a lot of the important stuff with Guts, but Guts is still a cool character. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah. Best girl. Silence.
I'm gonna say Casca.
Okay.
Just because like she's there, and like how I was interested in how she got to where she is. I wish I knew.
If only there was a way.
if only. Cherke. Why not? She's only in this for like. She's only in it.
No, man. They f***ed up Cherke too. Like she is not like a prophet like they make her seem in this.
No, she is not.
She's just a little witch.
She's just a little dude trying to figure stuff out.
And she's just a little guy.
Yeah.
Just a little guy.
She's not a prophet. That's her teacher that's the prophet. But she's still best girl because she's objectively best girl in Berserk.
Let me say my best girl is Farnese, but not in this. Farnese is just my favorite character.
Yes. Yeah.
In this, I'm going with Luca.
She was great. She's probably my real pick. My non
the leader of the ladies of the evening. She just seemed like fun, and like she cared about her colleagues. She cared about Nina, who is just insufferable.
She's like a mother. She's really just like a mother in this.
Yeah, and she's played by one of my favorite seiyuu, Miyuki Sawashiro. Recommendations though. Recommendations. I mean,
don't watch this is my recommendation. Yeah.
Go watch Berserk like this for some reason.
Go read the manga. Yeah.
Go read the manga. Yeah. It is funny though that the number one recommendation on any list is X-Arm.
Is it actually?
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. That's people like Jay with a meme.
If you are at all interested in this.
Oh man, the recommendations on AniList just reads as this is bad adaptation, the bad anime, the recommendations, X-Arm, Shibuya, Tokyo Ghoul, Re 2.
Yeah.
We've got And Dororo for some
grunge.
reason. Yeah, Fooly Cooly grunge. Dororo for some reason is in here, and Dororo is legitimately good.
I think it's just because it's kind of... I think Dororo is maybe like an actual recommendation for people who like Berserk.
Yeah.
They didn't get the meme. People are recommending Dororo.
Yeah, if you are at all interested in this, or if you enjoyed this for some reason, go read the manga. I guarantee you it is better. I guarantee it.
Yeah. Don't be like me and let this show turn you off from the manga.
No.
We're gonna sit down. We're gonna sit Jay down in the chair, and we'll show. We'll
read the manga to him. Yeah.
And then like Guts said, "Rar."
Yeah.
Okay, Jay. What are your final thoughts?
The show is a mess. I went into this wanting to say that it's bad, but like it's that so bad it's good kind of thing. And I was very hopeful that was going to be how I would review it. Then I watched it, and it's just so bad it's bad. I haven't seen Berserk. I haven't read Berserk before this. So, as a new watcher coming in, why are you not showing the stuff that like you're alluding to in flashbacks?
I feel like this show could have done with like if the first episode would have started with like a summary of the movies. I feel like that would have been a good move.
Something more than just like showing it in the OP.
Yes.
And the fact that these movies came out in like years ago before this is insane. That's not even to mention like the animation, the sound design, the soundtrack, the voice acting. A lot of this is either shit, frankly,
bold.
Or like in the case of the voice acting, mediocre. I can see some of Miura's vision in here peeking through the cracks at some points, but it's not enough to warrant watching this over anything else that Berserk has touched.
Oh, I thought you meant literally anything else.
Well, I mean that too, but under the banner of Berserk, if you were to consider anything, this is not the thing you consider. So, why?
Yeah.
Why was this created?
Fair. Yeah. And to be clear, I think this is the first ever why. Why is the lowest score, I think.
Yes.
That we have? Yeah.
Yes.
So, Jay.
This is our first ever why. Good job, Jay. You've broken records on this podcast. Congratulations.
This one's for you, Jay.
Thanks.
Yeah, this one's for you too, Jay.
Wow, congratulations.
Very clangtastic.
Mike, what do you think of this? What are your final thoughts?
So, as a Berserk fan, I knew what this was. I knew going in, I was not expecting this to be good. And it wasn't. But I was a little surprised how watchable at times it kind of was. I know Cole's giving a weird look, but like, I don't know. I didn't struggle to finish it.
Okay.
It definitely is directed poorly, animated poorly, done poorly in general. But like, as a Berserk fan, I got a kick out of just kind of like seeing the characters that I know and love kind of animated and kind of, it's like when you watch like a crappy fan animation almost. Yeah. You kind of get like a little bit of a kick out of just kind of, hey, I like those guys, but they're doing weird things. But, you know, like, and I didn't find it hard to watch, even though it did make my eyes bleed a little bit. It was a thing I don't want to watch again. I'm considering watching the second season of it for some reason. I don't know why. I just want to maybe see what they do to my characters that I love. And like, it wasn't a tough watch, but at the end of the day, like this is an easy why. Like, why did you do this to them? Why did you do this to me? Why did you do everything that you did in this show? Basically, you took something that was I know why you went CG. I know why they did CG, because this would be so time consuming and so much effort would go into animating this 2D that it's almost like impossible, I'd say. With the amount of detail that is in Miura's drawings, I get it. It'd be way too hard to adapt that. So I get the decision to go to CG, but I don't know if it's just the technology or the understanding or the skills just weren't there. But why? Why did you have to do this to my boy?
Mm-hmm.
Why? Yeah. Cole?
My turn. This is one of the most atrocious, god-awful things I have ever seen in my life. And I've seen the Star Wars sequels.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's different. That's not even that. Those are better than this.
Mike, I thought you were going to say that Berserk's better than the Star Wars sequels.
No.
The biggest thing, like, we keep talking about like how we can see the vision of what they were trying to do, and that makes me even more mad.
Yeah, it's almost like a tease, hey?
Because it's like, oh, you guys could have done it. And just the fact that they like started this on what I would think is like the worst arc to start a Berserk story. The animation, of course, goes without saying, atrocious. The blend of the 2D and the 3D makes X-Arm look like a work of art. The direction in this is terrible. I hate how much the camera moves. Mm-hmm. I hate how much you don't know what's going on. The sound effects in this are also awful. The redeeming quality of this is that we get side characters who are intriguing, like Farnese, like Cedro, like Puck. But that's not on this show. That's on Miura's manga. That all being said, I couldn't stop watching this. This was like a medical mystery to me. It was
glad you also felt that too.
It's like you're a doctor in London in the 1800s, and some guy comes out in a cloak, and then the guy removes the cloak, and it's the Elephant Man, and you're like, interesting. Yes, I'll take notes on this. It was just so freakish and weird that I couldn't turn away. So my official rating will be Y. But in my heart, I'm consider continuing. I'm kind of like what Mike said. I just want to see what happens. I want to see what they do.
Right? It's kind of like watching a train wreck a little bit. Like,
yeah.
Honestly, guys, if you want to rate it, consider continuing.
I can't.
Go with your heart.
No.
Go with your heart.
No. Because listen, like as Cole's saying, yes, I am curious in continuing, but the entire time I'm screaming why. Yeah. So that the why overwhelms.
Yeah.
The considering continuing factor.
And to be honest, I'm consider continuing. Will I?
That's the thing.
I will not.
I got much better things to do with my time, and so does Cole. Jay, you're not going to consider continuing, I'm assuming either?
I wouldn't have considered starting it.
Yeah. No, this is...
I'm glad I watched it, though, so I understand how truly bad it is.
It upsets me, because it's like, why... Berserk is honestly a masterpiece. It's incredible. Truly. The story is awesome. Guts is a good character, despite what this anime says. And this is what we get.
Well, Guts is so cool because of all the killing he does. And all the clanging.
Yeah.
Oh my God, Cole.
What?
I think the next season takes you all the way to like that island of the elves.
Yes.
How? Now can we add how as a rating? Because I'm pre-rating how. How do you
how and why? Why and
that's
how?
Like 100. It's like 100 chapters somehow in this 12 episodes. How?
So are you going to read it? How?
What? When? Where? Why? How?
Yeah.
Okay. All of the questions. This is truly an anomaly. Truly a thing that exists here in anime.
You know what isn't an anomaly though,
gentlemen? What is
an anomaly, Jay?
Our next review.
I was gonna go into
what?
Yeah, I was gonna do it.
Good job.
Okay, Gentlemen, you've crunched the numbers. You've asked. Well, I should say you've asked Cody Bot to crunch the numbers. What are the final results? What are we watching for our listener's choice review?
I took the work from Cody Bot, and I've taken down the numbers. I've taken the results, and gentlemen, in losing place. I don't remember the exact order of these two. I think I think Chihaya Furu. Actually, no, they've both equally lost. We have two losers, and they've equally lost as much, and they are Chihaya Furu. We will not be watching Chihaya Furu, unfortunately. Oh, go watch Chihaya Furu. Great. Cole's still watch it anyway. It's great. It's great. And we will not be watching. We will not be watching Yuri on Ice.
That's the sound of their skates on the ice.
That's right. The sound of Yuri Poletsky's thing in his leotard. That leaves our other two nominees, nominated by, I believe, Cole and the three of us. We nominated Haikyuu.
Okay.
And we nominated Free, Iwatabi Boys Swim Club. I don't know why I went for the second part of the name. I didn't know what it was. Yeah, Free, exclamation mark. And
I don't know why I said a second part of the name.
Yeah, I didn't know it. Up. I didn't know it. I know that there was something about a swim club, Iwatobi Swim Club, maybe. I did it again. Why did I do it again?
I thought it was just called Free.
No, there's the second part of the name.
Okay, I'm gonna look it up.
And gentlemen, while Cole looks that up, there you go.
No, you're right. Yeah.
See, I was on to something.
Okay. Yeah.
We have a tie. We have a tie between those two. So it's up to us, boys.
It is up to us.
As the progenitors of this podcast and the poll for listener's choice, we must decide. Now, Cole, we have a feeling what you're going to vote for here.
Do you?
Well, are you going to pick Haikyuu to save Canada?
I am a very patriotic
show.
Or you're going to pick your own
patriotic
show?
Canadian. I would feel bad if I picked my own show. You know what? I'll vote to save Canada.
Okay.
I'll vote for Haikyuu. No.
Okay.
And
puts us in a very interesting position here.
For humility.
It does.
Yeah. Because I'm so humble.
Jay and I have the power to make Cole watch Haikyuu. Interesting. Interesting. Very interesting.
Yeah.
Mike, you go first.
But I'll go first. I have already seen Haikyuu. So I'm going to vote for Free because I also want, the other thing that I kind of want out of this is I kind of want to get some BL on the show, and I think Free is on the podcast here, and I think Free is kind of like low-key hot boys doing things, and I think that could be fun. I think that could be fun to review a hot boys doing things show. So I'm going Free.
I'm into it.
Yeah.
I'm here for it. Yeah.
Yeah. Which leaves Jay with the penultimate decision here. You are literally deciding the next show we will watch.
Okay. So like Mike, I have already seen Haikyuu. But it's also a really good show, and I want Cole to watch it.
It is a really good show.
But at the end of the day, if you were to put a production IG show in front of me...
in your mouth. Yeah.
And a show by KyoAni in front of me, I'm going to pick the show by KyoAni.
It's fair.
Okay, yeah. Both S-tier studios, in my opinion, but...
Sure.
Well, KyoAni's the best studio ever.
We're gonna watch Free.
Then? We're gonna watch Free.
Yeah. You're safe this time, Cole.
Psych. It was psychological warfare. I wanted to watch Free the whole time.
We know.
That's why
This is a win. This is honestly probably a win-win for Cole.
Yeah.
Either he saves Canada and watches one of the best sports anime. Or he wins and gets a point for his teeny tiny to maintain the teeny tiny trophy.
I won't count this one as a point. Don't worry.
He's counting
because it was so close.
He's counting it as a point.
He's counting it as a point.
He's counting it as two,
actually.
I'm counting it as 1,000,000 points.
He's like Dumbledore to Gryffindor. 50,000 points to Cole.
To Cole. To myself. Yeah, so we'll watch Free. That's our next listener's choice.
Yeah, sometime next month we'll review Free. Yeah.
To be clear, next week we are going to read a manga.
What manga is that, Cole?
He's looking it up.
What manga?
Yeah, Jay.
What manga indeed? It's called The Summer Hikaru Died. I knew. It was right here in my brain. I didn't read it.
Nice. Well done, Cole. 5 points to Cole.
Thank you.
Worth the trophy.
50,000 points to Cole. So that's next week. How many chapters are we going to read of that one?
I think it's 25.
Yeah, I don't know if we ever looked.
It's usually the first 3 volumes we do.
The first 3 volumes.
Okay. So yeah, that'll be next week. But until next week, thank you so much for listening to another episode of AniPro. If you liked it, please leave a like, subscribe, leave a review, tell a friend about us. We appreciate all of that. If you really like us, why don't you consider... Thank you. Why don't you consider supporting us on Patreon like these wonderful, wonderful people? Mr. Family Guy 36, Elijah Wood, Brain Dead B-Dog, Nina Tucker's best waifu, Peach, Frama, Kratos, Just Juzz, Mogmog, Free Ren's Feet, Antonio Bustos, and new member of the Mailbag crew, Uncle of Light. By supporting us on Patreon, you get access to all sorts of perks and it really helps out the show. We're also on social media at AniProPod, and please join our Discord community to keep up with us and other listeners. Links to everything is at our website, AniProPod.com, or in the description below. Michael, my friend, why don't you please take us out?
Oh, for the love of God, let's get out of here, boys. I need to watch some good anime now. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
What do we do here? Did we press the button?
That is one big pile of shit.
This one. Let's end on this.
Oh, hold on. Let me press the proper button. Here we go.